or any observations from our last week's discussion.
Do you put the recordings anywhere?
I put it on my YouTube channel.
Ah.
Yeah. I thought I shared my channel information with you, but I'll share it again.
Okay.
Okay. So the last week we were discussing about contemplative mind. So I said contemplative mind, there is no language in that state. There is no words. So obviously the immediate reaction is, then how about prayers? How about this? How about that? We question like that. In fact, I got some questions like that after that session. So I was so we know when we anything we are talking about is one aspect of it. One aspect of it does not cover everything, right? See, if I'm talking about clouds, then doesn't mean the earth does not exist. Only clouds exist. So, right? So we have to look at both sides. So the question is how to develop remembrance. Only a contemplative mind can have remembrance. And a external side of the mind, cannot have that remembrance. See, we are always using the wrong tool. To develop constant remembrance, we want to use the external mind. Through external mind, you cannot be engaged in a constant action or only single action, because we need to survive. We have so many things to do in our lives. How can I held on to one activity and ignore everything else? So this remembering is always there in every most of the texts. Interestingly, I came across this book, The Way of Pilgrim. Is a Russian wanderer. It's his autobiography. He get exposed to this Eastern Orthodox way. Eastern Orthodox way is all about or Eastern Orthodox spirituality is what is called, is all about divinizing, becoming like Christ. So they're one of the the Thessalonians again. If you go back to the Saint Paul, the apostle in Macedonia, Thessalonia, he establishes a church. Anyways, in the Thessalonians it says, pray ceaselessly. So, keep praying, never break your prayer. Even in our system, heartfulness, we do perform prayer, and prayer has words. But look at the recommendation there. Mentally say the words, say the prayer twice, once or twice, and meditate on the meaning of the prayer. So this pilgrim, he takes that to the heart. So he'll ask how to pray unendingly. So he was given some prayers, and then he keeps doing it. He keeps dwelling into those prayers, and at some point he realizes that Christ within. Very beautiful story. Very wonderful spiritual journey, right? So how did that happen? So that's why Daji says meditation is from thinking to feeling. Feeling is the characteristics of the contemplative mind. Thinking is the characteristic of the external mind. External mind always requires that action, requires that language, requires that stimulation. So Just because I have to develop a contemplative mind does not mean that I neglect my external mind. Both are required. So everything starts as an external action, reaches the deeper state, which is the contemplative mind. At the state of contemplative mind, there are no words, there are no process, there is no stimulation. It is bliss. Bliss means unconditional happiness. Means there is no ecstasy, there is no exuberant emotions. It's serene, subtle, vibrationless. So from here to that, but everything begins on this side. Without it, this side, there is no other side. So there is no opposite. So all our prayers start externally. But if prayer becomes the goal, then you can never reach the contemplative mind, because we are caught up in those words, that language and the music or the tune of it, and then you're stuck with the external. It will never go deeper into the internal. That's why, look at the process, right? Say the prayer means say the words, but internalize, meditate on the meaning of the prayer. Meditating on the meaning of the prayer means it's not the what this God means, what is the impressions means, or power means. Not like that. Internalizing means as you meditate, the essence of the prayer becomes then you realize, okay, when I say thou art the real goal of human life, when I meditate, that goal comes to my view, because now it sinks into the contemplative mind. Then we understand what that goal really means, the state of goal really means. Means the prayer should put you in the state of the goal. Then you can realize, okay, this is what I want to become. So from an external mind, we go into the contemplative mind. From the contemplative mind, when we shift to the external mind, what we bring back is that serene state of being. Then with that serene state of being, I attend to all my external affairs, whether it's work, family, or anything else. Then see how I am basically approaching my life. It changes. Because in life, there is nothing can be, what should I say? It's not always happy. Whether one is a saint or a sinner doesn't matter. All life is troublesome. And that's the way of life for everybody. But because as a being, we cannot continue to be happy at all the time, whether I'm a billionaire or a pauper, doesn't matter. So life is always full of problems and we have to deal with them. If it is not financial problem, then it is health problem. If it is not both, then there is some relationship issues. If the relationship is there, and our near and dearest one will fall sick, and we have to deal with that. So it's always like that. So Babaji says, in spite of all this spiritual process is given to us so that we escape the crutches of this life and connect with the divinity. And what does the divine do? He makes us one like. We merge into that vibratory state. Hence, the goal of life is achieved. It is not to solve our problems. It is not to become a genius like Einstein or anything like that. So the process is very simple, what we are subjecting to. So that's why in spirituality, there is no negation. It is all inclusive. Oh, does that mean I can do anything? Okay, do anything you like and see how it affects your life. If it is not going in the right direction, then we have to change that path. But in the life, the patterns are always repetitive. Somehow we cannot escape those patterns. But once we internalize, once we develop this meditative mind, when my external mind and meditative mind come together, I can break those patterns. Until then, I can tell anything to myself. I should not be doing this. When I see that person, I'm going to stay calm. And the person says one thing and it irritates you, you cannot stay calm. There goes your calmness, because you are already set in that pattern. Even life situations, they are very repetitive. Wherever you go, it does not matter. You can change million places, million people, still you will face the same situation. But once this contemplative mind comes together with this external mind, we can break away those patterns, because the consciousness now is in our control, and what we manifest changes. What we are manifesting today is because of all those impressions we are gathering. And how are we gathering these impressions? Through our external mind. Those patterns need to be broken. To understand this real essence. See how beautifully the system is designed, the cleaning process, the prayer and the meditation. So it's not about praising the system or praising the guru. The praising have some meaning when I adopt it and implement it in my life and see the changes for myself. Like the proof of the pudding is in eating. I cannot praise the pudding without eating, right? So somehow we are subjected to this kind of unnecessary, exaggeration of things, the esoteric things, without even going through the experience. See, one of my friend, with whom I read this Indian scriptures, he said all the scriptures are the, pramana. Praman means the ultimate truth. I said it cannot be ultimate truth. For us to begin with, they're only the guideposts. When I prove them in my life, then they become the truths. Then they become the pramana. Not before. So any precepts anyone is subjected to, whether it's Christianity, Judaism, Hinduism, whatever spirituality, this heartfulness, something else. There's so many systems. Whoever is subjected to whatever the system, they have to prove that system in their lives. Otherwise, that system is useless. So it requires certain effort. It requires that contemplative mind. It also requires that matured external mind combined with that contemplative mind to realize those precepts in our life. That's why I like this book, The Way of Pilgrim, so much. He realizes them. So many people would have practiced the same thing, but only I don't know how many would have realized the same way. Because you have to transcend that external mind. Otherwise, we are stuck. Yes, I am doing the prayer all the time. But is it benefiting you? Is it creating that contemplative mind? If not, it's just mere words, it's mere props to lull your mind with the sweetness of the language, with the glory of the the God which we are praising, using in the prayer. So the idea is to reach that state. The idea is not to glorify that state. Right? What is the use of glorifying something and then not reaching? So life goes waste in this glorification and without putting any effort to reach that state. When I reach that state, there is nothing to glorify. So that's why both are required, the meditative mind and the external mind, working together to grow. So the material wing and the spiritual wing, the two birds of the two wings of the bird, then only it can fly. So that's the teaching, we are exposed to, but it is not enough to be exposed to. We need to bring it to realize it in our life. Right? So that's what we should be striving for. So I'll stop here for any comments, questions, or observations. All right. All right, so let's get into meditation now.